I have trouble embracing the notion that 300 million Americans have an inherent right to dictate the terms of coexistence with 6.8 billion other people. And yet that seems to be the rule book that we operate from. America first, only America. God bless America. I always love that one, God bless America. What's that mean? God damn the rest of the world? I mean, it's a stunning play on words. I spoke about this earlier today. Please forgive me, those who were there in attendance. But there's an equation that I'd like you to think about. You say you bring in ethics. Let's think about this. What is America today? A nation defined by citizenship? I'd like to put out a counter. I would say we're a nation defined by consumerism, that citizenship has been placed on the wayside, that we are a nation addicted to the narcotic of consumerism, that we have wrapped ourselves in a cocoon of comfort, and so long that the powers that be keep us waddling down a path of relative prosperity, we don't want to rock the boat. Now people will say, that's not true, Ritter. Say, fine, let me give you an equation. Just wrestle around with this one. I'm no great mathematician, and this is not E equals MC squared. It's even simpler. X equals Y plus Z. X is the appetite of the American people. What do we need to make ourselves comfortable? What makes us happy? X. X, gas. X, food. X, housing, highways, you name it, we got it. X, our oil in Saudi soil. How dare the Saudis put our oil under their soil? X, that which makes us happy. Now, Y. Y is that which America controls to feed X. So as long as X equals Y, or Y is greater than X, we don't have a problem. We're self-sufficient. We can meet our appetites. It's cool. The problem is X is such a great big number because of the demands of the American's consumer lifestyle that Y is now dwarfed. Y cannot feed X. So we now need to add Z. Z are the resources of the rest of the world that we must now gain access to in a manner which is economically beneficial to us so that we please X. X equals Y plus Z. Ask yourself why we engage in the foreign policies we do. We keep saying it's because of greedy oil, greedy this, greedy that. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's because of the greed of the American people. Our addiction to a consumer lifestyle mandates that those whom we elect to higher office feed our addiction by undertaking foreign policies that acquire the Z's necessary to balance the X equals a Y equation. It's as simple as that. We're going to talk tonight about overt and covert warfare, basically an assessment, an analysis of American policy in the Middle East, in particular Iran and Iraq, from 1990 until today. I always like to start off any talk about war by reminding people about the reality of war, especially in the context of the dinner I just had with the veterans. War is not a game. We need to be cognizant of that. The men and women who honor us by wearing the uniform of the armed services of the United States of America do us proud. They take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And we need to reflect on that oath, especially the part that it's an oath to what? It's not an oath to the presidency. It's not an oath to Congress. It's an oath to a document that defines who we are and what we are as a people. A document that begins with a preamble that says, "We the people of the United States of America." So in short, by taking this oath, they've entered into a contract with we the people. The military says that they're willing to commit the ultimate sacrifice in our collective defense. But there's the other side. What are we obligated to do for our military? And I think one of the most important aspects of this is, as American citizens, we are obligated to ensure that before we ask those who honor us by not only wearing our uniform, and it is our uniform, not the president's uniform, not Congress's uniform, it's the uniform of the American people, by wearing our uniform and preparing to make the ultimate sacrifice in our defense, that we ensure that it is in a cause worthy of the sacrifice they are prepared to make. This requires we the people to be engaged in a level that perhaps we have not been engaged in for some time when it comes to issues pertaining to foreign policy and national security policy of the United States of America. Far too often I hear the excuse, that's above my pay grade. That's the business of Congress. That's the business of the policymakers. Don't bother me, the simple citizen, with these complex issues. And that is absolutely the wrong answer. Remember, Abraham Lincoln said it well, that America is about government of the people, by the people, for the people. The people being the operative term. We, the people. We are responsible as citizens to ensure that those whom we elect to higher office are held accountable for the deeds they do in our name. You are not functioning as a citizen if you hide behind a shield of self-imposed ignorance stating that this is far too complicated for me. One of the great disappointments I've had in the American people in the last few decades is the unwillingness of the American people to engage in meaningful debate, dialogue, and discussion about the issues of our time. As we speak, the policy of the United States in regards to Iran is regime change. The President of the United States has signed a number of findings, covert and overt alike, which point towards the removal of the theocracy as the ultimate policy objective of the United States. We see a pattern repeating itself where the President uses the threat, the specter of weapons of mass destruction as a vehicle to intimidate the American public, to generate fear that allows them to be manipulated to embrace a policy of confrontation to achieve regime change. And this is the situation we find ourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. You know, if you go back to the Constitution of the United States of America and read it carefully, you'll find that the Founding Fathers gave the Congress of the United States the explicit responsibility for declaring war. It was determined that war is such a horrible thing that it must be agreed upon by the people's representatives in the legislative body. But since 1991, when it comes to Iraq and Iran, what we found is that it is the executive office, through the vehicle of the office of the president, where these decisions are made in a vacuum. And through a combination of overt and covert warfare, we find the United States is embroiled in policies that at one time were deemed to be un-American, but today are embraced as being a foundation of America's future survival. We have a problem, ladies and gentlemen. We have a fundamental problem where we have those who create policy being so far disconnected from we, the people of the United States of America. Through this discussion tonight, I hope I've opened up some venues that you'll seek to explore. I hope I've created some questions in you. You can ask these questions. I'll do my best to answer. But what's imperative is that you leave here tonight armed not with the information that gives you certainty of knowledge, but armed with the fact that we have a problem that demands the engagement of the people. We must become involved. We must have debate, discussion, and dialogue. We must impose our will on those whom we elect to higher office so that we don't have a situation where we find American lives being sacrificed needlessly on the field of battle in support of wars, either overt or covert, which are not in the interests of the United States of America, but rather in the interest of a narrow spectrum of American political ideology. Thank you very much. I'll take any questions anybody has. And whenever I hear somebody say, I don't know, it's not my, you can't blame me, I don't know. The media is not telling me what I need to know. Or the CIA is not telling me what I need to know. They're hiding behind a wall of classification. Woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. It reminds me of springtime in New York. I'm sure it's like springtime in Madison, Wisconsin. You guys have harsh winters? Yeah, but now you got the sun coming out, right? What happens when it starts to snow? All the birds fly south, but now they're coming home. They're coming home. The grass is getting green. The leaves are blooming. The birds are coming home to roost. And the first thing the birds do is they gather the leaves and the twigs and they build nests. They put them in trees. I know they do it at my house. It's right outside my house, my window. They build a nest, and then the miracle of life. The birds lay eggs. Nice little eggs right there in that nest. And then they hatch. It's cute. They hatch open and little birds pop out. And they're the cutest little things. They sit there and they go, tweet, 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 tweet. And Mama Bird's up in the tree and she listens. Oh, the birds are tweeting. So what does Mama Bird do? She flies off because those little baby birds want something. She gets the worms, she gets the bugs, she eats them, she puts them in her stomach, she flies back. The little baby birds go tweet, 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 and Mama Bird's pukes down their throat and they're happy. They got what they wanted. It reminds me of the American people. Every time we turn on the television, we turn it on and we go tweet, 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 and the mainstream media peeks down our throat. We open up the New York Times and we tweet and we get puked. Why? Because we're not asking the question. We're letting other people ask the question for us. If you want to be a citizen, ask the question. Say, what is it I want to know? Do not be held hostage by others. Use the supercomputer that resides between these two earlobes. Ask the question, then collect the information, and you can do so. Open source information, the power of Google. Ask Google questions. Google will respond. It's amazing. You can even manipulate the words. You can ask them in different directions. Use the same words, shuffle it up. Google gives you different answers. You get a lot of information from Google. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. Ask the question, collect the data, process the data, organize it chronologically, organize it by subject matter, assess the data. Damn it, citizenship is hard work, ladies and gentlemen. You're actually going to have to read information and think. Assess the information and then answer the question. The most important aspect of this, complete the loop, answer the question. And now you are your own citizen intelligence officer. You've made the decision. You've become the most powerful force in a representative democracy, a constituent with an independently formed point of view, not held hostage by the media. Stop being little birds. Start being hunter raptors. Gather your information and become citizens, functioning citizens.